Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everyone is staying safe with all the coronavirus activities. Luckily we live on the south coast here, so the sun is out, it's live and kicking, and in today's video it's going to be pretty exciting because I've received a big box. Let's go get it and check it out. Right, when I said box, I wasn't exaggerating. What on earth? Let's get a knife quick. Sure do. The old Gherkin knife. Easy as that. You would not want to be the receiving end of that. It's here ready for the next burglars, I guess. So, I am actually super excited about this because I don't actually know what's in here. I've got a rough idea, as I said. I don't actually know what we've got in here, so I guess let's have a look together. Oh, what have we got here then? DMR bars, DMR stem. I love how this is a whole bike. Oh. Wow, we're pretty much good to go. Look, out of the box. We just tighten all the bolts and stuff, and then we'll have a little talk about it, I guess. So I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking at first glance two things. One, why is it not a DMR? As you can see, it's Kinesis. And secondly, we're missing quite a large part here, so I guess that explains the second box I'm going to have to open in a minute. Kinesis and DMR bikes both fall under the company Upgrade Bikes. Upgrade is the distributor in the UK for Pivot cycles. It also owns Kinesis, it imports Lesign and a number of other brands, as well as owning DMR and this brand right here. So that is exactly why I'm going to try this bike out. Kinesis E Rise. I think I've got that right, or Kinesis Rise E. I don't know, I'll double check. That's me making a fool out of myself at the moment. Why have we got this bike? Well, we're going to give it a test. As some of you may well know, DMR is quite an extreme brand. What I mean by that is they have come from a dirt jump background. These guys essentially are a road bike brand. They do road touring and they're dipping their toes into the mountain bike market, and this is ideal for basically going to do what we're going to do today. So it's not mega extreme. We're not looking at hitting big jumps or anything like that. This is basically a way of assisting us up the hills, get the rest of it on and go from there. It has got different suspension forks to what I'd normally run. Obviously I'd normally run Fox, different wheels and different tires. But you know, this isn't my bike, so it just means we can have some fun on this without going into too much depths about sponsorship parts, etc. Look how cool the paintwork is in the sun. Here is the battery holder. We have a battery, slide that in, get a nice click. Oh, it's almost like this guy's done it before. We, I believe, are good to go. So lights are on. Our first climb on her. One-handed. There we go, look at that. Not a normal video as always. Gonna try this out, see how we get on this aggressive hardtail. Perfect for this sort of terrain. Not too rough, there's no big jumps, just fun and flowy. One thing you'll notice on this particular bike, unlike a lot of e-bikes, it hasn't got any computer on the bars. All you need is this little bad boy here on the top tube. Push up or down depending on how much power that you want through the pedals. Got turbo, we've got the middle setting, and then we've got the lower setting, and then off completely as well. So obviously that's our indicator how much battery we've got left. I've been warned that it's super sensitive because of the fact that you can wear gloves and things. If that's the case, you can actually change it and make the sensitivity a lot harder. So if it does rain or whatever, you know, it's not going to suddenly change your buttons or anything like that. I'm actually really enjoying this because it's something that I wouldn't normally ride. Obviously it's an E hardtail, it's got big old wheels on it, so it just means it carries speed. If you're hitting big jumps, etc., then yes, it's not the ideal bike, but it can cope. Let's go and ride a bit more single track, see what we can do. Being a hardtail, how much more speed it carries. This is local to me, but I haven't actually ridden here for ages, and every time I come here the locals change it up a bit, so it's quite cool to see. The hardtail is actually so much lighter than every other e-bike that I have been riding. This has got a place in my garage for winter riding. Winter riding be amazing fun, you know, you ain't got to worry about crap getting in all the bearings and all that stuff. So anyway, enough gobbing off, more riding. Bit of single track flattiness. So you can see what I mean, you don't really need a full suspension for this sort of ground. Quite a big gradient now going up here. Certainly struggle on a normal bike, I reckon, as in you'd be out of breath, you wouldn't be able to talk. Around the corner is somewhat steeper, so we're now going to go into turbo mode for this. Give it a little blast. Easy. Another single track. Do not have the gradient here, so we just got to rely on the little bit that we do have. That is why really a hardtail in this instance isn't the end of the world, because it just carries speed. Certainly having the bigger wheels, well, certainly tight and twisty. Oh my god, front wheel dive then. Now, being totally honest with you guys, I was not into e-bikes. I rode one a couple of years ago and absolutely loved it. That was quite a beast in relation to this, as far as it had 160mm of travel front and back. Certainly wouldn't replace my normal bike by any means, but I'd admittedly buy my missus one in a sort of bigger size so I could ride it as well, maybe. But either or, they're great for just pounding out the laps. Another trail there. Sort of embarrassed because it's very, very flat where I live. We just make the most of every little descent, really. It's got a cheeky little climb in a minute. Take full advantage having the E. Oh, imagine going up there on a normal bike. I certainly wouldn't be able to talk like I am now. Cannot believe how dry it is. So sick. You can just see where it's flat. I can just think about pumping it like a big BMX, especially the bigger wheels. Another track on the hardtail. 29 has definitely rolled pretty quick, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's sick. Quality. Right, another steepie. So you've got to have a bit about you on the hardtail over a normal bike. Warming up for the next climb. It's quite iconic because my good friend Tom, last time we come out and he borrowed an e-bike, he ended up going for a little paddle in the bush. So no. Let's go and check that climb out. Here we are then, guys. Probably looks naff all on a GoPro. This has got some gradient to it. This is the famous hill and my good mate Tom Spetch thought, I've got an e-bike, let's have a go at that. Believe it or not, you do actually require quite a lot of bike skill to ride one of these, because you're carrying a bit of extra weight, but all of a sudden you've got an extra throttle that suddenly lifts the front end up. There's a slightly different way of riding one of these, and that is you don't want to just go Mach 10 on the pedals, because it will just pull the front wheel up. So a little top tip, if you put your thumb on top of the bars, it will just keep the front wheel down. You want to try and stay seated for as much as you can, because then you're going to keep that weight on that back wheel, which hopefully will stop it spinning. It's not really that much of a drama on a day like today, but when it's wet, when it's slippy, that's where you're going to find the difference. Demon of hills for around here. All you northerners will be laughing at this, but it's still pretty big, it's still pretty tough. Let's give it a go, see what we can do. Starting at the bottom so you guys can see it for all it's worth. As you can see, I'm sweating my warts off, so imagine if we came in the middle of the day, it would have been so hot. I've decided we put you guys on the chest cam so you can hear me screaming out my lungs, and hopefully it's a better angle to see what the bike's doing as well. Obviously gonna go into full throttle. We're down to 3 bars now. Let's check it out. I'm just gonna go nice and chilled. So I'm in gear 1, gear 2, put my seat up a bit. So it'll suddenly get you halfway up here. So you just wanna chill. So all the way up here, I'm putting my thumbs on my bars to stop the front end rising. Still gonna start easing through the pedals. I'm using a lot of core to stay balanced. All horrible roots. And there we are. There is not a chance I'd be able to talk on a normal bike going up there, that is for sure. I can guarantee this hill looks nothing on a GoPro, but I can assure you, look at the state of that. Just on the right as you look down, it's in there that my good mate Tom Spetch decided to get the front wheel up and end up in the bush. So it actually does require a bit of skill to ride one of these, certainly uphill, because you've suddenly got all this extra power, and if you haven't got the correct technique, the front will just go away from you, and before you know it, you're going to end up back down the way you came. As we've got some time going to the next trail, I'll give you some little insights into this bike. Now, their motto is be a rider, not a passenger. So for all of you guys who are going, oh, it's cheating riding an e-bike, the beauty is with this, it actually feels like a normal bike. And I'm not just saying that, because of the weight and the fact that it is a hardtail, you actually feel like you need to control it rather than just plowing through stuff. Now, this has got the Fazia battery, which means it's actually a lot lighter than some of the competitors, Shimano, Bosch, etc. Pretty on par with one of the old school downhill bikes in weight. This is a very light bike in reality to a lot of the others. Whoa, little twisty number all of a sudden, isn't you? Whoa, that's tight. There's some tight little numbers in there, I can assure you. That's sick. Come up here again. We've done right, let's do left. Oh yeah, you kidding? Oh yeah. Hardtails are well fun. Sick. Oh, I think it flattens off after this. Bit of climbing. We're down to 2 bars now. I'm obviously praying that I don't have to ride this without the battery, but in all honesty, I don't think it's the end of the world if it does run out, because it is quite a lightweight bike. Another track, here we go then. Oh my god, this is steep. Oh my, that wasn't the one I wanted to do, it's that one. Another track, let's have it. Oi, oi. Oh my. Off the drop. Oh, inside that definitely rolls so good, man. That is incredible. I'm secretly having a real good time on this bike, actually, to be fair. Rolls extremely fast, which is a winner, especially where it's quite flat in places. It's not as though we've got the gradient here. It can dictate what mode you go in, so we're currently in like the middle mode. It's gripping well, it rolls really fast. But I think most importantly, I'm having loads of fun because you're having to think about your line somewhat being a hardtail, and that's very much the same when I ride my normal hardtail, my Trail Star. Just means you've got to actually think when you ride down the trail. You're not just relying on 160mm travel with a bit of weight, and that's the beauty with this, is the fact even though it is an e-bike, you have to actually ride it rather than just let the weight do everything for you. On the homeward run, quite a flat pedally track, this one. Don't know, we're logs in the way. Balance point is actually easier to find, but it's harder to hold because obviously with the electric, if I just push a bit too far, I'm away off the back. Cannot do this ride without taking you down this track. This track was built absolutely years ago. Me and my friend come up here when we were probably about 16, just smashing loads of runs. We've got 1 bar left, sun's going down. Let's give it a bash. On the old hardtail, let's have it. Oh, it's definitely loose. Oh, yo, so sick. And there we go. That is quality. Last little bit of the climb, 1 bar left. Sun's going down, but we have made it. Sick day. I am done. The bike is done, well, 1 bar at least. The sun is setting, and actually what a sick time on that thing. Now, as I said earlier, it's something that I certainly wouldn't replace my normal bike with, but I would definitely think about getting my missus one in my size. Have a little think on that. Great bit of fun, certainly in the winter. I can imagine it'd be epic. If you've got big jumps or you've got a massive gradient, I get it, you probably want a full suspension, but this comes in at half the price of most of the full suspension bikes, just for doing what we've done today. Certainly in the winter, I can imagine that to be super good. If you want to find out more, just head over to kinesis.co.uk or go on to upgradebikes.co.uk, and that will guide you to find that. A little bit more about the ins and the outs that go with it. Obviously, I'm not an expert in that field. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. It's slightly different, I know, the conditions, all the rest of it. Trust me, when the lockdown is over, I'll be making up for it, going to bike parts, shredding the gnar, you know what I'm saying. Keep up the good work. If you've enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you give it a thumbs up. Be sick if you subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. Until the next one, I'll see you in a bit. Oi, oi.